Hi everybody, this is Ben Baxter from Accent Software. Wanted to bring you another tip video. This one's going to be on just the very core basics of manufacturing within Business Central. So what does it take to actually produce an item in Business Central? Okay, so I am in a profile designed for manufacturing. It's called the Manufacturing Manager, which gives me access to my production orders. And that's the key. The production orders is where all of the processing happens to output an item and to consume the components, consume the time if you're doing those things. Now I'm going to throw a little twist at it. So I'm going to do this manually. So normally I'm a big proponent of using planning, having the system make suggestions on what to make, when to make it, that sort of thing. Today we're going to do it manually just as an example. I'm going to have it auto number, and I'm going to use an item that is a raw material item, okay, which is not something I produce out of my system. But I want to show you this as an example. So we're going to say we're going to make 50 of these. We're going to do it on the 24th of the month, and we're going to do it to our main location. So with that information, I'm able to have the system generate the needed component to produce that item. So even though this is not one of my normal finished good items, it's actually a component that I use, I've created a production order to make it. Okay, so not usual situation, but I want to show you that you can create a production order that doesn't have a bill of material defined. So it's completely blank. I can then add whatever bill of material I need. So if you're in a custom production shop, this might be a good route for you. I wouldn't start on a released production order. I would start with a planned production order so that I could go through the quoting process, not create the demand for the components, those sort of things. This is at least an example for you. Same thing on the routing, which normally defines my sequence of operations, how much time is required. It's blank. And that's because this is a raw material. It has no bill of material defined. I'm able to create a production order and make that. So it is not required to have a predefined BOM. It is not required to have a predefined routing. You can make those things up on the fly as you go. Okay, so that's just an example for you. We're not actually going to produce it, although I could with just that information alone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and look at an item that I do use in production, and it's my finished good 1000, and you'll notice that it has a routing defined and it has a production bill of material defined. You can either use generic routings or generic bills of material. Most common is to have a BOM and a route that matches the item you're making. Most of the time, the sequence of events that's consistent with that specific item and not much else. Same thing with the bill of material. Certain items are needed to make a finished good. They generally don't need those same components to make a different finished good. You may use some combination of the two, but generally not the exact same one. Now, if we go and look at this, again, this is the very bare bone basics. Okay, so in this case, I have a very simple bill of material defined. Your bill of material can be very, very complex. The system handles multi-level BOMs, phantom items, very, very complex bill of material setups. Okay, this one's very simple with a very small list of components. You can link your components to the specific step in the build process. That gets into more of the advanced topics, so we're not going to go through that. Same thing on the route. I have a very simple route. It has 3 defined operations, 10, 20, 30. Certain work centers, so groups of machines that the process happens in. And then I would pick the specific machine within my machining department. And I would pick the specific person who's going to do the assembly on the production order itself. So again, just a very simple explanation of the route. Again, you can have complex routings. We try to keep it as simple as possible, try to get whatever you're going to capture time against. And if you're not going to capture time, try to do it in terms of cost buckets. How do I want to account for the cost of the finished good item through the build process? Because all of this can be automated. If you haven't seen it, go watch my production automation video where it has a very simple BOM and route. and all you do is create and then complete the production order. Everything else is automated within it. There's a lot of functionality you can add to it. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Work with your partner, work with us, reach out to us if you want to have a discussion on how you're tracking the information. Does it make the most sense? Are you best utilizing your environment? That's what we do. At Accent Software, we're a specialist within applying the software to manufacturing businesses. So if that's what you do, by all means, reach out to us. We'll have our email and phone number at the end of this video. So with that, that's kind of the core basics of manufacturing within Business Central. There's a lot more to it in terms of getting into BOM versioning, into routing versions, ways to automate the production planning process, including your component purchases and requisitions. There's a lot to it. So start very simple and then build as you go. Work with a strong partner on it. We hope if you have a need that you'll reach out. We'd love to talk to you about it and just see if we're a good fit for you. With that, have fun with the system, play in a sandbox, and start playing with the manufacturing environment. Check out the next videos, and we'll see you soon.